All right, onward and upward. Our next speaker is John Surratt with Walmart. Presentation will be on the screens. I think you're really going to enjoy his presentation. Had a lot of good conversation about this. This Walmart marketplace is pretty new to the space, and they're trying to do some cool and innovative things. So with that said, John, welcome to the stage.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. So first, I do want to really appreciate just the conversation that Gary had in terms of creating new partnerships and looking at the business differently. I think one of the things to think about here is that 10, 15 years ago, the thought of Walmart being at a refurbished reseller event would be a real challenge. And now we're happy to support this event, and we'd love to have a number of conversations with you all. So I want to kick it off by talking a little bit about Walmart customers and specifically the demographics that we've been getting feedback from. Then we'll talk about some of the Walmart programs that we have available. And then we'll dig into some questions at the end with Bob. So the first area is when we look at, and many of you all are customer obsessed, you probably know Walmart is very focused on our customers. That is our primary ethos. Our orientation and what we've been hearing from customers is the need and demand for more refurbished options available in the marketplace. 8 out of 10 Americans have bought a refurbished item in the last year, with the fastest growing area being in the millennials and Gen Z space. The Gen Z economy is interesting because it's not just growing from a cost of the items or a high value item perspective, it's also growing from an interest around the environment and sustainability. What research has shown is that the global spending power of the Gen Z demographic right now is going to be growing to over $1 trillion over the next 3 to 5 years as the Gen Z demographic starts to join the workforce. So really important customer set that's actually very focused on sustainability and refurbished items. It's not just Gen Z that's interested in refurbished items. The Walmart customer is heavily focused on value. When you think about Walmart, you think of everyday low prices, and you think of delivering the highest value for our customers. All of our customers are interested in getting those best values. And the way to look at this business, when we look at pre-owned and refurbished, we have a $30 billion growth model by 2031, and that's a doubling of the business within that 10-year time period. Importantly, the Walmart customer has, over the last several quarters, has focused a lot more on food items and non-general merchandise items just due to challenges in the economy. With that in mind, and the fact that Gen Z is growing and their interest around sustainability is increasing, the time is perfect to offer more of a restored option to our customers and deliver a high value option to those customers. And that's really what we're going to talk about today, and essentially how sellers like yourself can participate on our marketplace. Let's talk a little bit about Walmart as a partner, Walmart as an organization. So we've led several evolutions in retailing. Across our 10,500 stores, and 90% of the US population lives within 10 miles of a Walmart. We touch 255 million consumers every single week, whether in store or online. So when we're talking about restored, we're talking about refurbished, we certainly need more technology. We certainly understand that there's going to be compression in this space. But one of the things that we feel passionate about is driving greater exposure to refurbished options. So growing the business, growing demand for the business beyond what it is today. And that's what we're really excited about with our Walmart Restored offering. The Walmart Restored offering fits right within our ESG commitments. So I'm not going to go into our full white paper, which you can find on our website, but it's really an authentic representation of Walmart's commitment to the environment and sustainability. Walmart's one of the largest organizations, if not the largest organization in the world, and the goal of achieving zero operational waste in the United States, Canada, and Mexico by 2025, while delivering zero emissions across global operations by 2040, is a pretty remarkable goal. And these are areas that even outside of our Restored initiative, we've made clear to the market and to the Walmart customer. One of the core pillars, and it's that last bullet that you're seeing there, is the ability to refurbish and to offer more refurbished and reused items within our marketplace. So let's talk about the Walmart Restored initiative. So the Walmart Restored initiative, and I have a number of my colleagues here from Walmart that actually represent the Restored program, which makes me feel comfortable if you have any questions after. We started the Restored initiative in 2022. I like to talk about 2022 a lot because I don't like to talk about 2021. 2021, if you were trying to sell a restored item on Walmart.com or a refurbished item, and let's say you had an iPhone 12 or 11, you were putting a product detail page or a posting in a sea of postings. And it was very hard for the Walmart customer to discern a particular quality of the seller or the quality of the refurbished item or the warranty that they were receiving. We took our time really understanding what the Walmart customer was looking for when it came to refurbished items. And what they were looking for was some level of trust in terms of what the warranty was, a standardized orientation around condition type, and they wanted to understand the battery capability of those particular items. Those kept coming up in the research that we were doing. So that's really where the Restored program began. And it started with 100 sellers. Some of you might even be in this room. Thank you for trusting in us early on. We've now 10x that number since 2022. And it started with just computing and then opened up to wireless. And now it's cameras, TVs, headphones, watches, a whole number of different electronics are currently available in our Restored program. So as you can see, these are the standards. So it's essentially like new condition. Now, so we have like new condition. We just recently launched Restored Good and Fair. So that opens up new condition types for the Walmart customer, again, allowing for a potentially lower cost item for customers that aren't as concerned about, say a visual blemish on a particular item. So that's exciting. And each of them are inspected and tested. They all have an 80% battery life, and we all have a consistent 90-day free return policy. We also have Restored Premium, which is similar, but this is an opportunity for brands and certified brand refurbishers to be able to offer their items on Walmart.com. A little higher level of quality that the customer is expecting, a little higher delivery on warranty as well. Some of the things that we've been doing, and this kind of comes back to what did you learn from 2022 to now. In 2021, if you wanted to find a refurbished phone, you could find the refurbished site on our website. You could find a refurbished section, and you could find a used section. The challenge was getting to that section, and it was a very kind of put off to the side. If it were an actual Walmart store, it would be way in the back, essentially. What we've done is we've taken a much more integrated approach, which is when individuals are looking for an iPhone, they could be looking for any iPhone, and they're not typing in used or restored or refurbished. We're integrating into that path to purchase. So we're allowing that new customer to consider a refurbished option. That's how we're adding more eyeballs to this whole industry. So people that are just looking at new items are now looking at these really compelling refurbished options. This is an example of a tile takeover. Sorry for the nomenclature, but basically an image that shows up when you do a search for iPhones. So you can see it opens up a whole new assortment for that consumer, even though they originally were just looking for a new item. So looking ahead, we're excited to add new capabilities within the platform One is we will be opening up to new categories. So things like, even outside of electronics, so things like books, music, apparel, automotive, those are areas that we're excited about. Another is the ability to look at a individual product detail page and then be able to not just see that new item, but see refurbished options of that item right there on that detail page. So that's one other area of exciting news for us. And yeah, those are the exciting pieces of Walmart Restored. I wanted to, Bob, we're going to go through some questions. I don't know if Bob's still here. Great. I'll ask my own questions. So, great. So a couple things just to talk about Walmart Restored. What we did to clean it up, we talked about the environment that we had in the past. We created a golden catalog for iPhones as an example. So instead of having 8,000 different iPhone 14s, there is a golden catalog, so a defined set of iPhone 14s. What that does is for the Walmart customer is they don't have all those different choices. They have the choices there. They have the different condition types they can work with. It's a much cleaner environment. It's also much simpler for our resellers and our sellers because they can just attach to those items, those particular product detail pages, instead of having to post their own. So in order to do that, we also had to restrict the sellers on the platform in terms of them creating their own iPhone PDP pages. So that was one of the things that we did, and it's worked very well. We're expanding that capability into a number of different electronics areas, also different condition types, just to, again, clean up that customer environment and it does also make it a simpler environment for resellers that are on the platform. Okay, well, if Bob is, sir.
Hi, Mark Vandereen from Selby. So I'm looking at your categories. So we talked about conditions earlier, CTIA, that kind of thing. So I see you have, I'm just subbing in for you, Bob. Hope you don't mind. So,
Go for it. You probably do a better job.
so I see you have like new. I see you have like new, and then beyond that you have fair and good. Are there, like, how did you pick what grades would be acceptable, what the consumers would be wanting? You know, within Selby, we're also trying to make it consumer-like, but we're entirely B2B. But we're also looking at alignment, where you get alignment on grades within a B2B that can make it much easier on B2C. Talk a little bit maybe about your grading, how you decided what's working, what you want to improve or expand to.
Sure. Thanks, Mark, for jumping in. And it's a great question. What we did was we started with, and a lot of this just went to Walmart customer research, which was what's their biggest interest level, and where could we find the least amount of potential misunderstanding. And when you look at something like fair, that's a challenge, right? Because your fare is for sure different than my fare. Something like new is a lot closer. Like that's a easier point to kind of start with, and that's what we did. We started with what we looked at was some of the highest quality items, and part of that was one we felt like was easier for us to define, and we think of it from the customer's lens first, and then to the industry. And the industry makes it tough, right? And we're on the CTIA panels, and we've been working through that as well. But from a customer's perspective, we looked at it as could we start with the top? Start to build trust with the customers. One of the biggest things was trust. And so we felt like if we came out with lots of different quality types and varying results from that, that would impact the overall program. So it took us some time. We wanted to get it figured out. We wanted to start with the best. And that way customers, as they're starting to come back, they're like, oh, okay, I really trust the like new. Let's look at good for, as an alternative. So that was really our orientation, and trying to keep it simple. That was probably the two.
I was just going to say, so there's a simplification element to that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because from the consumer space, as you very well know, Mark, it's just the simpler the better. Yeah, so it's got to be quick, concise, and pretty clear cut. Okay. Any other questions for John? You will? All right.
All right. Thanks, John. Jason Smith, GSMA. How do you manage your suppliers and your sellers in terms of making making them implement good practices, let's say with stolen fraud devices, and then how do you manage problems that might surface later, and just as devices flow, to your consumers, and just handling those kind of reports?
Yeah, it's a great, very carefully. It's probably no, I'm just kidding. It's a challenge, and where we what I feel like, and you kind of heard the way we deployed it. It was just very considered and slow. We only started with 100 sellers to begin with, and of course we started with 10 to be, for the first few months. So one, it's a vetted program. So we're evaluating each of those sellers and their reputations and their backgrounds in the market. Interestingly, it's a relatively small, people know each other. And so being able to reputationally vet some of these sellers is really important to us. The other piece is we're looking at the ratings and reviews that those sellers are getting from our customers. So our customers' input's super important. We also look at time and delivery. How successful are they at meeting the commitments they make to our customers? And then the other one is spot buys. So kind of the standard thing. We're also going out and doing spot buys to make sure that they're delivering on that quality. The other aspect is we just have a really rigorous, we talk about different technologies like machine learning and others to just vet fraud and sellers that are bad actors, as it were. Thank you for the question.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions?
So what we're talking about here is US-based, but we will have the opportunity to open up to other regions. Right now, it's just, I believe is it just US-based? The smarter heads have nodded. Yes, it's just US-based today. Correct.
All right, I want to encourage everybody, please take some time, go visit Walmart's booth, spend some time with John and his team, get to know what they're doing. Again, in that same spirit we talked about before, collaboration, we've got people here who are willing and able to work with you, so please make the time to talk with them, especially because they're also our sponsors too, who help put this program on and make this all possible. John, thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, Bob.
We have about 5 minutes. I'm going to bring up Nick from PhoneX, and he's going to give us a very insightful presentation as to what's going on in the space today. So, well, are you able to cue it up now? Are you ready for him now? PhoneX, 5 minutes? Okay, all right, we'll take 5. Thank you.